Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and do a review of the Celest Phoenixcall and to go from there. Before I go on further, there are some notes on the screen, and whatever's on there basically is often not discussed in the video, although I will cover most of it in here. But basically, just it's meant to be complimentary, and often what's in the notes is, just think of it as a live journal. And then my video is more like my final thoughts. Okay, so okay, well, what I'm going to do is talk about this IM, and this is going to be a longer video. I actually really like this IM, but I think there are some nuances that people should know about it. So I'll go piece by piece and to go from there. So in terms of aesthetics, I could not ignore that. It's so beautiful. It's, I think, in my opinion, the most beautiful IM I've ever come across. I'm not sponsored by this company. I'm just telling you, like, that is freaking beautiful. It comes with like some, now it doesn't come with Kiwi ear flex, I just put that in there, but you get like these kind of ear tips, and then you also get this kind of cable. So, it's not, and this is on sale right now for $69. And so yeah, let's break it down and go from there. Okay, so the bass, I would rank it a grade of C. I would say it's pretty average. At first I thought the bass was pretty good, but as I began to listen to it more, I was like, oh, okay. It's not bad though. It's not like, it wasn't a point where I'm like, damn, I wish I had more bass. Like, not like that, but it was just more just like, it's just, and like, it's okay. It's average, right? In terms of bass, like, just as a point of comparison, this is a $20 IM called the Kiwi Ears Bell. This has way more bass, you know what I mean? And it's more like, oh, that's way more fun. Just as a point of reference. Sub bass, if this is correct, and when I say correct, this is like probably the people who make the song, this is probably how it's supposed to sound like. And then this is Beats by Dre, where it's like, burr, 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 and this is above correct, and this is polite. It's right here, like literally right below correct, but inching towards polite is how I would describe the sub bass. For female vocals, they are freaking on point, like absolutely on point. Now, I do want to mention something. So there are some white tips and gray ear tips in here. They do sound different. So I find that the gray ear tips sound better for male vocals, but worse on female vocals. And the white one is better for female vocals, but a little bit thinner on male vocals. I tried to save it with Kiwi Ears Flex, but it's at the end of the day, it's kind of like, it is what it is. And I'll talk about the flaws of each side. Female vocals are on point. Like, they're full, they're like really well done, but one major problem. The problem is when it gets spicy, as in like really sibilant tracks, like it gets really, really harsh and sibilant. So I had a difficulty grading that. I'm like, is that A because it's like perfectly on point? Or is that like a C because it's so sibilant and harsh when it gets harsh? So I put a grade of B, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like, female vocals are actually pretty full. They're actually on point. It's just that when the track gets sibilant, it does get harsh. So there's, damn, you know what? Actually, I didn't even think about it, but this actually might be good for critical editing. No, I didn't even put that in the written notes, but these are accurate. Like, in terms of vocals, it's accurate and full. But when things get spicy, you absolutely will know it's spicy. This actually might be good for mixing. Holy shit. Anyway, that's off topic, and that's different from what's on paper notes. This is just me rambling. Okay. Male vocals are actually a little bit thinner, and I felt it just wasn't quite on point. Like, if male vocals are like supposed to be like this, nice and perfect, this is just a little bit thinner. Okay, the other thing I want to say is, so what we've discovered right now is the bass is okay. Sub bass is a little bit below correct, just like a smidge. Female vocals are on point, but in terms of sibilance, it gets really harsh. Male vocals are a little bit thinner. Now, one thing I did was, and I will demonstrate this at the end of the video, I actually wore these IMs, and then I used the microphone, because sometimes what I hear back actually tells me about the tonality. When I actually hear back, it actually sounds like, kind of like the microphone is, like, let's say this is a neutral microphone. It sounds like someone EQ'd a little bit treble and a little bit bass. So this tells me that this is actually probably it's basically a minor, or a very, minor V shape. So it's not a full on V shape, but it's a slight V. If I had to guess what the, and that actually kind of cross checks. And we'll start talking about signatures afterward. Soundstage on this is average, or just it's somewhere either between average and maybe even slightly below average, but it's not bad, but it was just like slightly below average or average, somewhere around there. In terms of sibilance, this is what it was really confusing the heck out of me. So I went and I tested the Luna tracks, and it was pretty harsh, but that track is supposed to be pretty harsh. And that's why I dropped the scores down a bit. But then when I went and did some more hardcore tests, that's where it's kind of a little bit tricky, because when I maxed it out, when I raised the volume a bit, it was like medium on a lot. It wasn't high on a lot, but on the Edward Smith track, it was like painful. So that tells me this does get spicy, but it's not really, it's not really that harsh. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay. Now let's go over like sound signature. Like, what does it sound like? I'm not going to bring the Rictograph because it just gets really messy, but let's just go over it like piece by piece, right? So I wouldn't call it a bright microphone. I wouldn't call it a bright IM. And when I say bright, let's just grab a few bright IMs out of here. Like, it's not like it's warmer than a little bit warmer than the Critical Divine. It's a little bit warmer than the Tipsy M3. It's a little bit warmer than the Hexa. So it's a little bit warmer than this, right? But I wouldn't call it a warm IM either. You know what I mean? Because when I think of like warm, like it's a little bit less warm than the Lush. It's a little bit less warm than the Duna Kima 2. It's a little bit less warm than way less warm than the Dusk. It's warmer than less warm compared to all these. So it's not in the bright pile. It's not in the warm pile, but it's not in the neutral pile either. I know I'm confusing it, or my notion of neutral, right? So it is, you know what it is? It's a slight V. That's what it is. It's like, it's closer to, I would say, let's bring out the V-shaped IMs. It's like so I would say in general, it's closer. So the Tongzu 1 or 2 is much more V-shaped and much less, this is a lot worse with vocals in my opinion. The Swan NV has more bass and it's more fuller and it's warmer. So it is a little bit less warm compared to the Swan NV. Compared to the Defiant, and we're bringing the Defiant factor here. The Defiant has stronger bass and it is better with male vocals, but I would say they're on par on female vocals. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically try to mimic to let you hear what I hear, what it's doing to vocals. And I'm going to use a V-shaped microphone so you guys can hear what I'm trying to say. So, hey guys, wanted to go ahead and just try to explain with microphones how it sounds like how vocals sound, male vocals sound to me. So this is the Rode NT1. This is a neutral sounding microphone. So it doesn't sound like this, right? So it's not a neutral sound, but at the same time, it's not a dark and warm sound. So let me switch to a dark and warm microphone. So this is a dark and warm sounding microphone, the Ethos. It doesn't sound like this. The vocals are not dark and warm, but at the same time, the vocals are not bright, right? It's more V-shaped. So this is a V-shaped microphone. You can tell how the bass is a little bit accentuated, but at the same time, the treble is accentuated at the same time. This is how it sounds like to me.